All right. The paper I chose is blockchain's role in strengthening cybersecurity and protecting privacy. I'm pretty sure this paper was wrote in 2017. A video on blockchain. It's about a minute long. It's just a real quick introduction on what blockchain is, exactly what it does. Kind of gives you an in-depth summary, but not too in-depth, on some of the transactions that it can perform, some of the secure features that it can bring. If you wouldn't mind watching that video real quick, that's available to you. So in defining cybersecurity, Google states that cybersecurity is the state of being protected against the criminal or unauthorized use of electronic data or measures taken to achieve this. All right, so this data can be anything from personal information, secure documents, private health information, and we're wanting to secure these from lurkers, any hackers, or anybody that may be on the outside of the organization looking to get access to these documents, unauthorized access to the documents, without being caught. All right, so blockchain's role in cybersecurity. A couple of the disadvantages. Blockchain is in its infancy stages, so blockchain is really just starting. I mean, within the last few years, it's just getting rolling, but I think that it's pretty exciting. I think it has some awesome capabilities. It's not widely adopted yet, again, because it's so early. There's not many tests that have been driven against the blockchain because it's in the early development stages. So that's another weakness. And then there's current design flaws. The current design is kind of the same across the board from what I've researched and what I've picked up from the paper. So that's a concern if the blockchain was to ever be hacked. That could bring the downfall of the entire system here. So the chances of that happening right now are very slim, but if it was to happen, that could be a problem. All right, so let's talk some of the advantages here. It is decentralized. All right, so there's not one central authority. Right, it's across the board here. It's a block ledger. Okay, so each blockchain has a ledger, all right, full of transactions. Okay, and each one of these transactions are tracked throughout this blockchain and have multiple replicate documents, all right, of the same. So if someone was to hack into the blockchain and try to get access to one document, redundant copies of that same document are there, okay, to replace that. It also has mathematical encryption, so just some mathematical formulas to keep all of the information on the blockchain secure and private. There's also smart contracts that require multi-signature authentications. So if anybody wants to see or get access to some of these smart contracts that may be used between governing agencies and healthcare providers or smaller agency businesses, they need multiple signatures in order to get access to it. And then the blockchain also has a permissionless and permission block ledgers. So it's similar to the cloud. All right, the cloud has the private, the public, and the community clouds. Blockchain has the permissionless and the permission. The permissionless ledgers require permission or do not require permission to access them, and the permission block ledgers require the permission to access them. All right, so one versus one, blockchain versus cloud storage. When it comes to efficiency and effectiveness, blockchain essentially eliminates a middleman with a distributed ledger. So that ISP or that the troubleshooters that you're using to store all of your data on their secure server are no longer there. Okay, you kind of eliminate that middleman with the blockchain. Cloud storage, again, has private, community, and public clouds. The blockchain uses a permissionless versus the permission ledgers. This is cybersecurity mechanisms involved here. Blockchain has a fully encrypted data protection policy with cryptographic hashes. All right, just lots of mathematical formulas here we're using in order to secure that data. And then there's also public and private keys that ensure that there's the person that's getting the documents is the right person. Okay, so they share that key. Each person has their own key that they use in order to utilize that document. And then with the cloud storage, you have the fully encrypted data as well with the cyber risk free zone. Cyber risk free zone is more along the lines of you have a team that's constantly actively monitoring your security system, your network in real time. And then some of the challenges, again, with the blockchain, the main challenge right now is the newness. It's very early, so newness is a big problem. It creates security concerns for now because there hasn't been many tests driven. And then for cloud storage, it relies on firewalls and the concealment strategy. We know that firewalls have their vulnerabilities in the ports and in certain operating systems, and then they're also operating under concealment as opposed to blockchain where there's thousands of ledgers that are available. All right, blockchain's effect on data security and healthcare. Here the paper discusses the effects that blockchain could have, some of the effects that blockchain could have on data security. I zeroed in on one of them, and it was the influence that it could have on EHR records, the electronic healthcare records. Electronic healthcare records, again, are just records of each medical patient that can be shared from a medical healthcare provider to an organization, a government agency, just small businesses, anything along the lines of that. All right, so sharing records securely from administration to the next. Again, right now, in small business, there's a push pull and a view way of viewing data. So with the push way, the provider will push the data to the person that's receiving it. The pull way, the person that wants the data will go and get the data from the healthcare provider, and then the view is just the person that needs the data just views the data as it's available. Okay, with the blockchain, we're eliminating this, and these documents are going to be able to be shared instantly in real time and authenticated and very secure. So again, direct record access for the patient. So the patient, the actual consumer, will have direct access to their records. They can see them, they can view them with the right authentications. They can even make edits and changes to the documents that will be edited and applied to those documents on the ledger in real time. So those are some pretty awesome tools right there. And then again, allows consumers to control sharing of their personal data. So the consumers can control what, if any, third-party private or third-party users that they may want their data to be shared with for advertising purposes or anything along the lines of that. I know I don't want much of that, but a lot of people do. All right, and then the overall impact of blockchain on cybersecurity, again, it's just increased efficiency in data transaction and documentation. The security is going to be higher, the efficiency will be higher, and it will be easier once it's fully integrated and fully adopted. It increases consumer freedom, privacy, and transparency. I just think that it allows the consumer to be a lot more involved on things that are going on in their life, especially that are so important when it comes to personal information and medical information, and streamlines business models. So I think blockchain is another way to streamline businesses. I think that this is a new business model that's going to be undertaken by a lot of businesses in the future, and the quicker that we can get blockchain implemented into the business world, the more of a benefit I think it's going to be for everybody in the world. And then here's my Q&A. What is the main contribution of this paper? What is the question that the author of this paper wants to address? The methods, the results obtained, the overall conclusion of the paper related to the overall question, and then 2 experimental weaknesses and 2 other experiments that the author could do. I'm not going to go into super depth of each one of these. I'm running over my time limit right now. I'm about 11 minutes. I really appreciate the time here.